This week is week 10. We read about the designing of learning and the environments. Thought that the video of Quest to Learn was really cool because it brought out the fact that when we go out in the workplace, bosses are not going to ask the simple question of what is 3 plus 3. They are going to say, this is the problem that we're having, and what they'll ask you your opinion on how to solve said problem. The Design Tech High School, the young people were talking about creating fidget spinners and fidget cubes. That was really interesting. Those things were very popular just a few years ago, and some of the things that were brought out was it actually helps students concentrate more, and I thought the same thing. Building a 21st century learning space was a video about an educational hub. They took the space and made it a circular space, and around that space were different classrooms that were lab-like, and they did different lab projects, and the common area was a place that they could watch video, certain presentations, and the students could sit there and assist one another, which was really great because that not only would help the student that was helping, or the student that was being helped, it would also assist in maybe the collaboration would help the one helping the student. Over the years, there have been changes in educational goals. The one that I focused on was the fact that in early 1800s, there was just the focus on the mechanics of writing. We've gone from learning the very smallest element of writing things on to it's as time progressed, it was more and more important. Now students don't write that much, and when they do write, I have seen it in my own children that my children's handwriting looks like a doctor's, to be quite honest, a medical doctor. You can't read it much, and it's a really sad thing, but these days they're using the computer so much, their handwriting it's not really necessary to handwrite things. You do have to write your name when you go out for job interviews. Then there's learner-centered environments, and these environments are paying attention to knowledge and skills and attitudes that the learners bring to the educational setting. So what I think of that is that it's a collaboration thing. Also, it's where the students think in relation to their problems. They're being challenged more. One of the other things that we had to read was a station rotation model. And when I was reading over this, it reminded me of how the kindergarten, the younger grades are set up. They go to, especially one with an assistant teacher. One of the things that I pointed out in the discussion was that my mother was an assistant teacher, and a lot of times the assistants would take a small group of the children. While the teacher was lecturing, the assistant would do this, and they would read to one another, and it was probably a group of like 4 or 5 students at one time. The way that it worked was when they were reading, if they had a difficult word to pronounce, a lot of times the other students would help them pronounce that word, or the teacher, or my mom would, the assistant would. And then when they got through with that particular little book, and they weren't very big. I mean, you're talking about first graders here. They were probably maybe about 5 by 6 inches. And once they got finished with that book, they would sit there and they would discuss what the book was about. So in that aspect of it, the students were, they were just right there at a small table, and they were collaborating and learning from that collaboration and figuring out, whose ideas were correct.